Hey everybody, thanks as always for stopping by. I wanted to review this book. Let's get right into it. Okay, so I'm coming at you here in February, the latter part of February, which is Black History Month. And I wanted to talk about The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. This is the first McBride novel that I've read. And it was just okay, in my opinion. This was an Oprah Book Club pick, and I think it was heavily promoted by Barack Obama as well. So I had pretty high expectations for it. I mean, I don't put too much stock in Oprah's book club recommendations because I think our reading is a little bit divergent from one another. But of course, I take Barack Obama's recommendations with quite a bit of respect. And yeah, I wasn't terribly impressed with this one. It was certainly readable. I wouldn't pass up the opportunity, especially because it's so poignant to talk about in the topic of Black History Month and race relations in the United States and the West broadly, really, but definitely in the United States. It's really about Jewish immigrants and the local population of African Americans in, I think, Pottstown, Pennsylvania, Chicken Hill specifically, which is a rundown neighborhood that is, heavily gentrifying, and the Jews are, with upward mobility moving out. But one of the families that decides to stay and stick it out, it's sort of centered around their family, and they run the Heaven and Earth grocery store. And so, I mean, I do like the themes there, that you've got, good marginalized groups just pulling together, trying to make the best of it, trying to get proper water and sanitation for this community, that has been systematically oppressed by Jim Crow realities and an undercurrent of anti Semitism, of which has enjoyed quite a bit of prosperity in the United States, historically speaking. So I think he could have gone a lot further with that idea, and I really like what he was trying to do. But it seems to me that it was kind of a swing and a miss, in my opinion. He seemed to give everybody all these origin stories, and there was a lot of characters. There were parts of it that tugged at the heartstrings, which was good. I wouldn't fault him for that. That's why you read this stuff, especially in Black History Month. Oh, by the way, I wanted to take a small digression here, speaking about the value of novels in particular through Black History Month. I mean, one can argue, and people often do, that if history isn't true, it's not history. And I mean, I've said that myself on many occasions, but in different contexts. And that is absolutely true. But sometimes we're talking about a kind of fictionalized truth. Sometimes truth can be really compelling in fictionalized form. It can capture a particular atmosphere, an attitude, a prevailing attitude at a time. And James McBride definitely accomplishes that in this novel. I'm actually pointing to this as one of the better things about his book. But yeah, I think that's the main issue there, is that he brings up all of these characters that intertwine with one another and concatenate in weird ways, but he gives them these 15-page origin stories, which are just like, why was that necessary? And they don't really pop up. In fact, the whole thing that the book starts out with, about finding these skeletal remains in an old cistern or something, that to me seems a little bit unresolved. At least I'm not really remembering it. This is the thing, is it didn't, the resolution to kind of the thing that he starts the book out with doesn't stand prominently out of the book. So there's lots of things like that. I did like, that the husband of the woman who runs the Heaven and Earth grocery store has these acts come through town. He's running this club and has all these kind of iconic jazz artists. I really love that theme as well, because I'm a huge jazz head. I listen to jazz as often as I can. So that was fun, but he could have gone a lot further with this book, I think. But I would read him again in the future. I think I rated this 3 stars, so and probably right dead center there. A little bit above okay. I want to read what Sarah the librarian wrote on Goodreads because she hits the nail on the head. It's the late 70s, and following a hurricane, most of Chicken Hill has been wiped off the map, and in ruins, the police have discovered a man's skeletal remains. But who he is and why his bony hand was clutching a strange necklace is a mystery the police are unable to solve. It's also a mystery I completely forgot about in this overstuffed, meandering narrative that takes pages and pages and pages to go absolutely nowhere. That's definitely the feeling. James McBride is a beautiful writer. I have to agree with that. He's got a literary flair to him. Florid language, not excessively florid, but it's he's got beautiful language and good for him. I mean that sincerely, but all the beautiful writing in the world can't make up for the endless parade of side plots and random characters, she continues, introductions that take the place of an actual coherent story. Nothing happens in this book, she says. It's positively maddening and very, very strange. She continues further on, there's also a startling lack of setting for a book that feels like it should be a very visceral reading experience. I did definitely pick up on James McBride's feeling of the town, but he focuses on the feeling of it. There's certain books where you feel like you can walk down the avenue and you can see both sides of the street, and you can feel what's going on. You can feel the bustle. You can feel the conversations that are happening on the peripheries and that sort of thing. He doesn't really execute that. He executes well this whole, the racism, the struggle, the community between, the Jewish diaspora and the African community that happens to be settled there. So I agree with her there too. She says the idea of the Heaven and Earth grocery store is, I think, intended to be sort of the cornerstone of the book. It's a store run by a Jewish woman who's sort of the heart of Chicken Hill. There's a lot of talk among other characters about how great she is, but the reader never actually sees anything great happen. I think Sarah the librarian on Goodreads kind of articulates that well, and as I say, I would call this a swing and a miss, but I have heard good things about James McBride, and maybe I'm missing something. That's entirely possible. I mean, if Oprah and Barack Obama saw something in here, they knocked their socks off, it's possible, but this is my opinion, so there it is. Let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. I'd love to chat with you guys. Maybe you can straighten me out and see, maybe let me know what I might have missed or how I should have approached this as I was reading it. It'd be great to hear your input. As always, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next one. Hey everyone, I hope you liked this video. If you want more like the one you just watched, click the suggested video on this screen. Make sure you subscribe, and to connect with me on my other platforms, my handles are linked below in the description, alright? Take care, peeps. Till next time.